Sirens, Slammers, and Service, a podcast for female first responders by female first responders. My name is Nikki Clucci, and I will be your host. As a former correctional officer in Alberta for almost 2 decades and the founder of Blue Line Fitness Testing, which provides law enforcement fitness testing and first responder wellness workshops, I started this podcast as a way for female first responders to share the trials, tribulations, and triumphs of their daily work. I want to showcase the unique perspectives, skill sets, and personalities that women bring to a first responder career and share their stories. So get ready to laugh your ass off, learn a whole bunch, and be inspired by some pretty badass women. Let's go. Hey guys, we are back, and oh my gosh, I've got another phenomenal female first responder for you guys today. Today, we are joined by Chevelle Sokoluk. Chevelle did 5 years in corrections, and prior to that, she was a paid on-call firefighter with Lac St. Anne County. She did that for 5 years, and her and I had the honor of meeting way back when, 6 freaking years ago, which is insane, when she ran her COPAT to get into corrections at the first ever facility that Blue Line was in, and fell in love with her. She's a sweetheart, guys, absolute little doll. And then we got to run into each other, like 3-4 weeks ago, maybe even longer than that, at the Alberta First Responders Conference. Catch up, figure out what's going on. And you have got one fuck of a story to tell. And I am so excited about it. So welcome. How are you today?
I'm good, Nikki. It's so great to be here, honestly. I've always been like in the shadows kind of watching and seeing all these things, and just so many people who are incredible humans. I'm going to shout out all the females, right? Because it's harder for us. Everything is harder for us. We have to do things a bit differently, and we really look at things with a different angle. I'm sorry, men, we love you, but we actually use our brains. And then we have to think about like how we're going to go at certain situations because our bodies aren't set up or the same way as everybody else. So yeah, like even running the COPAT, I'll never forget walking in there being so scared. I don't think I ate or drank anything that morning. And you're like, hey, whenever you start. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And you made it so
You're like,
easy.
do I have to start? I don't want to start.
Do I have to? And then I just like ran. I saw like black the whole time. And I was so scared for this push-pull. And here we are. It's the easiest thing ever. Use your legs. I'm like, okay, my legs. Yeah. So it's been so great meeting. I can't believe it's been 6 years. Isn't that wild?
That is so wild. It's like when I think that I like started this business 6 years ago, that's what blows my mind. I'm like, I've been doing this for 6 years. Like it feels like I started like a month ago. Like it's just crazy, like how much the business has evolved, how many awesome fucking people I've met. Because that's the other part of it too, is that like you meet people, and again, people always tell me stories about like, and then you screamed at me to breathe, and I realized I've been holding my breath for the last fucking 2 laps, and I'm like, I don't remember that at all, but like they fucking remember it, right? Use your legs. Like people remember the things that I've said, and I just remember like their faces, and I remember like the stories of when like I get the emails or the text messages of like being like, I got the job, and I'm like, oh my god, my little babies have blown from the nest and they're working, and it's so fucking cute, and I love it, right? So to me, it's like the fact that like I get to be a part of that journey is just so freaking cool, because it's like a one moment in time for those people, and it means the fucking world to them because they need that test to get that job. And like a lot of people, that's their dream, that's what they want to do. And so to be able to be a part of that, to me, is just like the coolest thing ever. So you started out as a paid on-call firefighter. And so how, like, what kind of drew you? Obviously, like first responder is kind of what you were leaning into. So like what kind of drew you to these types of careers?
So my grandfather was a military police officer, and that was like always my dream, to be a police officer in the military, and I wanted to be SARTech. So my goal, or go in the military, not technically police officer, but I wanted to do SARTech. And so I was going to join, and when I was 18, I signed up and I was going to join. And then I heard a conversation from somebody who said that they were excited for someone else to control me. And I was like, bye, I'm out, done. So I left, I never went through with it. And like, trust me, it's been a bit of a regret my whole life, but I've had so many experiences that I'm like, you know what, everything happens for a reason. So fast forward a little bit, I was like, okay, well, what else can I do? So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to join the RCMP. I did my application. I wrote my aptitude test. I'll never forget walking in a K division and having like, there was like 60 people in this room. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am not going to make this. Scored super high, like did really well. I'm going through the process. And this is at the time where, so I would have been like 19. So 2014. So like, marijuana wasn't legal, not like, and I'm such an honest person and I have a really horrible like conscience where I'm like, hey, I can't, like if I try to lie, like I can't. Maybe I'm a little better now because of working in corrections, but sorry. But yeah, so I literally disclosed that one time I took hoot off of a marijuana pipe. I didn't even inhale, never got high. And they deferred me because I was too honest. And the girl was like, I can't remember her name, but she was ruthless. And I was like, what? I was so honest. Like, I'm like, so you want crooked cops? Like, I was so irritated. And I was like, I'll never join the RCMP. No. But at that time, and I'm like, but I don't understand. This guy that was in my class, I knew him and he was a stoner kid and he got in. Yeah. He's like, well, I never told him. I'm like, but that's not fair. Like, right. So after that, I kind of took a different path and I went into like construction and safety and went that route. And then when I moved up to Onaway, I got the little paper in the mail that they have like a little like insider thing. And it was like, join our fire service. And so I went down there and I joined, and it was terrifying, but it was like the best thing I ever did. The fire service was wild. And I went through so much there. Like we did our full 1001, level 1 and 2. We actually lost one of like my best friend's and he was a firefighter. He got killed by a drunk driver. So Josh Perry White, I'm not sure if you remember.
I know the name.
Yeah. Yep. So he was like, there was a group of us. We were thicker than thieves, and it was a huge shakeup, and it was such a huge, like a family, right? Yeah. Like what I loved about fire, it was a family. And then one of my lieutenants actually worked at Fort Saskatchewan Correctional Center, and he was on the TAC team, and he was like my favorite lieutenant. And, he's always like, oh, you do so good in corrections. And I'm like, I don't have any security experience. I have no background. Like I'll never get in. So at the time I was working as a safety manager and in marketing, and my like COVID was kind of coming. And so like there was like the talks of like the world pandemic, and, I'm like, it's probably nothing. And so I was like, you know what, maybe I'll apply at a couple jobs and see what happens. And there was some stuff like restructuring going on at my work. And I'm like, well, to be honest, the first thing they're going to cut is marketing and safety. It's easy to cut that. You can contract that out. So I was like, well, what can I apply to that like is a secure position? Because I had a house that I had to pay for, and I had all these things. And my lieutenant was like, apply to corrections. So I applied, and it took me about 7.5 months, but I got in, which is crazy to think that now they like hire you on the spot and you can start tomorrow. You got your coat, Matt. Come on in.
Yep.
Oh, you're the wrong person. Oh, sure. Come work here. But yep. Yeah, so yeah, I got in, and it was so scary. Like I'll never forget. I went into my interview, and it was a panel interview. So there was 2 people in front of me, and I was so scared. I had like interviewed for lieutenant in the fire service before, and like it was scary, but like it wasn't like this. Everyone had masks on, right? And he was sitting with, the girl that used to do all the training. She's retired now. Colleen, yeah. So he was sitting with her, and they were sitting there, and he had his mask on the whole time, and she was asking questions. And then he's like, I would like answer the questions, and they would just keep going on. And I was like, hey, like I actually felt really good in this interview. And then at the very end of the interview, he's like stone cold looking at me with his mask on, and he goes, I have another question. And I was like, this guy's an asshole. Like, whew, okay. I honestly don't remember what he asked me, because I don't even think I heard what he asked me. And then he goes, yeah, you'll hear from us. You're going to start right away. And I was like, I didn't get the job. I didn't get it. And then I saw him on my unit. He was doing a round, and I'm like, wait, because the masks came off, because I started on B shift. So masks came off. And then I saw him one day, and I'm like, he's like the nicest guy ever. And so I told him this, and oh my gosh, he laughed so hard. He's like, you thought I was a dick? I was like, oh yeah, 100%. And so he was spreading around. He's like, oh, someone thinks I'm a dick. And they're like, you're like a baby. Like, you're not mean to anybody. I can't remember his name. He's still there.
That is so funny. It's true though. People like, because I'm like, sometimes like people are like, I know I've been in multiple interviews, and like the ones that are the hardest is when you can't read like their reaction to your answers. Like they are just stone faced no matter what, like there's no reaction. And so I always tried, whenever I was recruiting and I was doing the interviews, to kind of give like a little like like a little nod or like a little kind of like, okay, like, yeah, you're on the right track, or like, you're not on the right track. No, like, we're trying to redirect, because I know how scary it is to be on the other side. But I
Yeah.
have interviewed with people who are like fucking stone faced. And so you just see the person that's on the other side of the desk, like looking at the stone faced person and being like, fuck. And then like looking at me, and I'm kind of trying to be like smiling and like, it's okay. And then there's, so the rest of the whole interview, they're just like looking at me, like they won't look at the other
Yeah,
person.
you're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
totally,
I'll
totally.
never forget. Like, I left that interview being like, you failed, you didn't get it, like, whatever, move on. Like, next, like, we're on to the next thing. It's fine, whatever. The pandemic's happening anyway, so who cares?
Yeah.
And then I got like the email or the phone call that, like, yeah, like, we got, you got the job. We have to come in for orientation here. And I was like, what? Really? I'm like, I felt good in the interview originally until he spoke, and
And then you're like, oh my
he
God.
ruined everything.
That's
Okay, I think it's because whatever question he asked me at the very end, he's like, "Are you sure that's your answer?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think."
yeah. You're like, that, yeah.
Now
I
I'm
want to lock,
questioning that I want to give a
I,
different answer.
I want to lock my final answer. And can I phone a friend actually?
Yeah, like, is there a hotline in here?
Yeah, that's so funny. And so when you started, because again, so for our listeners that don't know, usually when females start, you get put on the female ranges because that's just where you go. We're fucking short females all the time, so we always need female staff. But you went to B shift, which is my old shift. Yes, went to B shift. Was Murphy and Nishek your DDOs at the time?
Nice, yeah, nice,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Two of my good friends. And so when you went there, you were placed on, I think, did you say female infirmary, or did you go to female mental health?
No, I was 3 Bravo to start. I
Okay.
did actually, that's a lie. I did my first 3 shadow shifts on female mental health when it was, you weren't there when they swapped it from to male mental health, were you?
No.
So I was on the original female mental health, and then I went to 3 Bravo for, I think, for like maybe a week, and then I was thrown on a pod 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
and
like
it's
that.
I'll never for oh, that's a story. Oh my gosh, so like, honestly, working in field mental health, to be honest, the biggest thing for corrections, which is wild, even thank gosh I had some experience in an emergency services and have a head on my shoulders and grew up on a farm and like know how to just like deal with people in general. And like I have 4 brothers that like they beat the crap out of me. So like I'm a tough girl, right?
Yeah.
And so on 3 Bravo, you sit there and okay, by the way, here you go. You have three shadow shifts. No idea that it's an open concept jail. Yeah, no idea you're going to be in with the inmates. So you sit there. You're not allowed to touch the panel for those first 3 days.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Blue Line Fitness Testing is a premier law enforcement fitness testing and training center based in Edmonton. Specializing in helping individuals prepare for the physical demands of a career in law enforcement, we offer comprehensive fitness evaluations, specialized training programs, and classes tailored to meet the unique needs of our clients. Our facility hosts a range of classes and are committed to fostering a supportive and empowering environment where clients can achieve their fitness goals. Our team includes experienced trainers who bring specialized expertise in law enforcement, self-defense, personal training, and rehabilitation. We engage through our community through challenges, events, and our podcast, and we are dedicated to helping individuals succeed in their fitness journeys and career aspirations in law enforcement. Are you looking to get started with your career? Come see Blue Line Fitness Testing, and we'll get you there.
You have to literally walk around with somebody at all times, and you're very limited on what you get to do because you're a shadow. And then all of a sudden, day 4, you know how to run the panel, right? You're on your own.
Yep.
And when you don't, you put somebody at risk or whatever. And so like I sat there and like, I'm not going to lie, the people that trained me, because you don't get anything extra to train somebody and you're just a regular correctional officer. So they wanted nothing to fucking do with me. They were like, just sit there. We don't want to deal with you because I'm an inconvenience to them, which at the time I was like, fuck you guys. Like I'm new, like train me. Now looking back, I'm like, no, frick the people that run this place that don't allow a proper, program for new employees and just put everyone at risk. Because it's not, it's not Officer Bob's problem to have to train me. It's actually supervisor and, like the TDOs and all those things. So that was a bit of a shock. And I like, of course, I don't work well with women. Weird.
Who
I
the
wonder
fuck was it?
I wonder
I'm like,
why we get along. I'm just kidding.
yeah. I'm like, who the fuck was that? You know, and so like again, from the flip side of it, from the DDO's perspective, you got put on pod 2 because we've recognized immediately that you could handle and you could do what you needed to do out there and that we didn't need to handhold you because that's what happens. And again, that's a downfall. Like as the DDO, I know that I'm throwing you to the fucking wolves. Like I know I fucking am, but I don't have any other choice. And I would rather throw somebody that I know can fucking handle at least a little bit to the wolves than take a fucking baby sheep and put them out there because they're going to get fucked. Like they're going to get fucked so hard.
And
but that exactly. I know the system's broken. And you know what's the most fucked up is that what I would have been 17 years plus 6, 23. I would have had 23 years in if I was still working in corrections.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed in 23 fucking years. When I started, you got 2 shadow shifts. No, you did get 3 because you did a nights, which was fucking stupid because nothing happens on nights. But you got 3 shadow shifts. Exactly. You got your 5 day
flashlight.
Yeah. You know how to do, do you know how to count and you know how to use a flashlight? You're good to go. Like, but you had your 5 day orientation. Literally nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is they've added in the computer system to learn how to do that in the orientation training. And then your shadow shifts, where exactly like you said, not allowed to do fucking anything, have to be shadowing, literally a little shadow behind the person who's going out and doing the things, trying to take in everything you fucking can while you're doing the shadow shifts because it's a fucking fire hose of information. And on day 4, here's your fucking unit. Da-da!
And then the best part is on my day 4, I showed up with 2 overtime staff.
Yes.
And I'm the one who had to do, like, I'll never forget my first day in the jail on my own as a learning officer with no handcuffs, no training, no nothing. I did cell searches on my own because I was like, well, okay, like, I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to do legally, but I'll beat the shit out of them if I have to. Like, I'll protect myself. And I figured out the panel because I like went home and I was like, hey, blue, red, green, blue. Like, how do you get their mask? This, blah, like all the things, right? But that's just because I'm not like everybody else, and not everyone that goes into that job is like has that mindset. But I was also very like head on a swivel. I worked in the fire service. You never know. You're always looking. Is that going to collapse? Is that going to collapse? Like, is that what's going on here? Is there something happening here? Right? Or you're in the middle of a traffic on a highway. Like, not everyone's like that. I worked with this one guy. I felt so bad for him. He was such an angel of a human, but his last job was in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I looked at him, I was like, why the fuck are you in corrections?
Yep.
He's like, well, I'm like, no, why? Like, please leave kindly.
Yes. Yep. No, I know. For me, like, again, the only thing that changed in the difference between 23 years ago and now is that we used to only have one officer per unit. So I'd be on one side, my partner would be on the other side. We were in the bubble with a little kind of pony wall in between the two of us. And when I had to go do a round, she'd come over or he'd come over, depending on the unit I was on, back me, leave that unit unfucking supervised, unwatched for however long it took me to do the fucking round, hope that they didn't fucking kill each other. Well, I did my round on this side, and then I would come back and I would walk over to her side and she would go do a round. And like, so again, so take that. So not even nobody to fucking, just me out there with my own fucking unit. Like, again, 3 days worth of fucking training, being like, holy fuck, I will, to this day, I remember, Connie Hartley, right?
Yes.
Connie Hartley. So Connie Hartley, my first shadow shift, she was still working days and afternoons, which tells you how fucking long ago it was. And she's like, all right, kid, you got to go do a round. And I was on a shadow shift. So technically not allowed to go out and do a round by myself, but it's fucking Connie, right? So she's like, all right, kid, you're up. And I was like, oh, what? And she's like, yeah, go do a round. And I was like, holy fuck. And I remember walking out of the unit, absolutely shitting my fucking pants, like shitting. And I was just like, holy fuck, what am I going to do? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then I was like, hey, you just got to fucking pretend like you know what the fuck you're doing out here. So walk with a little bit of confidence, like fucking keep your head on a swivel, fucking pay attention, right? And so walked, did a round, ended up a couple inmates came up to talk to me, which I was like, oh fuck, I don't know the answers to anything, but okay. And like, right. So a couple inmates came up and talked to me, asked me a couple questions. Okay, great. So I came back into the unit, and Connie looks at me, she goes, oh, fuck, kid, you did great. You look like you've been out there for years. You'll be just fine. And I was like, okay, thank you. Oh my God, I thought I was going to die. It's like, she just fucking laughed. She will never forget that story. Every time I see her, she's like, oh yeah, I remember when you did your first round, you thought you were going to die. I'm like, shut up, fucking Connie.
And it's funny because after you're there, like once you're there for a little while and you do it, it's like it just becomes second nature. And you know what? Like when somebody like you end up working with a lot of people on overtime, like I would get to the point where I'm like, honestly, I'm like, I can't sit here and do nothing. Like I'll go do every round, I'll do cell checks. If you want to sit here and do nothing, I actually don't care. I'm like, whatever, it's fine. But I'll never forget. So I get pulled onto pod 2 and I go to the unit. I was on 2 Bravo. And so I go to the back, I put my stuff back. I come to the unit and I was doing shift change and I was a bit early because I was new and like, I don't want to be late. And this was when we didn't have, like, we could come and go. We didn't really have to go to muster because of COVID. So I walked in, I was like, oh, has count been done? And he's like, no. And I'm 2.5 weeks into the building. Don't know that it's a gang unit. Have no idea because I'm just like a blind little child that's like, this is what I gotta do. I gotta do the same thing I did on every other unit, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm also like not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm not a horrible looking female. So like I'm on a unit full of men and I'm like, I can handle my own. So whatever. So I do count. I go and I'm finishing it. And my partner walks in and he looks, he's like, is count been done? He's like, oh yeah, your partner's doing it right now. And he looks up, he's like, who the fuck is that? And I hear it like through the whole unit, right? And I'm like, whatever. Like, I don't know who this guy is. So I'm like, whatever. So I come down, I finish count. I'm like, yeah, count's good. Like, is there anything to pass on? He's like, you're not fucking working here. And I was like, well, I said, maybe I'm not. And I said, but the CPO3 told me that I was working here. And he's like, yeah, I ain't fucking happening. Yeah, I'm not working with you. And I was like, okay. He's like, you can leave. And I'm like, okay. So I go to the back and I literally just went to the back and let him sit down and do whatever he had to do. And I came back to the front and I was like, get this stuff organized and make sure that there's like no anything going on. And he's like, well, you didn't hear me. You're not fucking working here. And I'm like, to be honest, man, I'm like, you can call the 3 and ask, but like, I double checked on Alpha. There's no one there, like whatever, or they're already there. And he's like, well, I'll figure it out. I was like, okay. So he calls and he's like, nope. He's like, that's your partner. And so he wouldn't talk to me the whole shift. Mm-hmm. So purposely, because I'm kind of a really nice woman, every time a round was going to be done, I was like, no, fuck you. I'm doing it. You don't get to sit there and tell me that I'm a female without saying it, but like that you're not working with me because I'm a female and no, fuck you. So I would every single time I would get up, I would do the round. I did all the cell checks because the float was busy. There was something going on or whatever. I did all the cell checks, no problem. I talked to the inmates because in my head, same with you, I was like, have some confidence, speak to them. Don't turn your back. Like I was brand new, but I'm like, if I talk to them, they're not going to think I'm scared. They're not going to know I'm new. And it was fine. Everything was fine. And so after I did that, the next day I come to work, guess where I am? Same unit. So I do the count. I come back and he looks at me. He's like, you kind of proved yourself yesterday. He's like, I guess I'll work with you. And I'm like, why? Because he didn't have to do any work. And he goes, pardon? Or he's like, no, what'd you say? And I'm like, no, you heard me. And we were like best friends after that. Because he's like, this girl's not going to put up with shit. I'm like, no, I'm not. But I've always been one of the guys. So it worked well. Like I did 2 Bravo and then I was on 3 Charlie for a while. And then I took over Bootcamp. And so I was like the main officer on Bootcamp for a long time. And then I finished off on between Bootcamp and Pod 2 again. I mean, when I worked on female units, it was overtime. My home was never a female unit. And so many women were so angry about it. They're like, oh, why does she never have to work on a female unit? And I was like, I don't know. I don't ask to be on these units. I prove myself and this is where I get put. I'm like, I'm not better than anybody. I'll work on any unit. I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
You brought up a really good point though at the beginning. And like, again, when you have to work with these people and that it's that we fall down in that we expect partners to train each other, right? And we're like, hey, Joe Blow, like you said, Joe Blow correctional officer that doesn't get paid anything extra. There's no perks for fucking training people, right? We expect you to train this person. But the flip side of that, and I always used to say this is, you cannot come fucking storming into my office as the 3 or as the DDO and say, I'm not fucking working with this rookie who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. How the fuck are they supposed to learn what to do unless you fucking show them? And don't fucking complain about, well, they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, because nobody's fucking taking the time to show them, to help them. You want a good fucking partner?
Train
Fucking
them.
show them what to do. Show them how to be a good fucking CO, and then you'll have good backup. But you all want to fucking go wipe your hands of it. Nope, not my fucking responsibility. And then you want to come and complain to me as the DDO that you don't have a good fucking partner? Fuck you. Or the CO3s the CO3s would get me. The CO3s, because again, I get it, frontline guy, and half the time frontline guys got 6 months in, and the person that trained him before had 6 months in, and the person before him trained him had 2 months in. So the litany of shitty bad habits and terrible fucking work ethic has trickled down, right? And now this new person is getting trained by somebody who was trained by a shitty officer, who was trained by a shitty officer, who was trained by a shitty officer. And so of course it's going to be a shitty officer. But when the CO3s would come and they'd come fucking banging through the door, and again, as a female, right? Would they ever dare to fucking get in Bill Nyshuk's face and scream at him? No. But when I was a DDO with him, fuck you, Nikki, this is fucking bullshit. You gave me fucking 3 fucking rookies that don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I'm like, I'm sorry, CO3. I'm going to not say his name, piece of shit, CO3 on pod 2. I'm sorry. Am I interrupting your schedule of watching Netflix in your office while completely ignoring your units? Am I interrupting that schedule of doing nothing when you are the fucking supervisor? Get the fuck out on the unit and help train the new kids that are fucking on your unit, because that's your job as a supervisor, you lazy sack of shit. So for me, like that, I used to just fucking spin when they would come through the door like that. I'm like, oh. And then guess what? You know what you're going to get tomorrow, motherfucker? You're getting 5, because fuck you. I will load your fucking pod up with every fucking rookie I can, so that you have to get out of your office and you have to go do some fucking work because you're a lazy sack of shit. Like that stuff I used to just fucking torque me, because it's not the fault of the fucking new person. And it's not the fault of the Joe Blow guy that's working as the partner or as the float or as the who, like, you know, it's you like, but if we expect people to be good partners, fucking train them. The only reason I became a good CO is because I had phenomenal partners. Deb fucking Simpson, Renee Gable, like Shelly Sonicson, women, like just, and you know, then when I went to the male ranges, like people that were like, hey, Nikki, don't fucking do that. Like, that's dangerous. Don't ever go that way when you go out on the range. Holy fuck. Okay. I never would have thought about that. Or like, hey, listen, did you notice that cell door kind of closing behind you? No. Okay. Well, somebody walked by and tried to fucking shut the cell door on you while you were doing the security check. So like, be fucking aware. Okay. Yeah. Like, you know, little things like that. You're like, holy shit, never thought of that. Or like, hey, remember how you spoke to that one inmate because you were fucking frustrated? Well, now look at what we've caused out there. Look at how fucking hot the unit is. Okay, yeah, you know what? Next time, fucking no matter if I'm frustrated or not, I'm going to check myself before I speak to this inmate. Or, you know, why didn't you call that inmate out? He just fucking chewed you out in the meal line and got pissed off because of something, and you just stood there and took it. You can't fucking stand there and take it. You got to clap back. Otherwise, right? Like all these little things that I was like, okay. Yeah. And some of it, like you said, if you're fucking smart and you can kind of, and you're good with people, that's the other thing. I'm good with people, right? So if I'm good with people, then I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Like, no, I'm not going to take that. Or wait, like, I did come off pretty harsh. I'm going to apologize because I was a fucking bitch for no reason. You're right, guys. You know what? I had a fucking shitty day yesterday. I'm sorry. It's my fucking fault.
Like, you can, like, people say, like, yes, don't become friends with inmates. You can apologize. We're human. We fuck up. My biggest thing that I like always put in my head was, there's a couple of them. Like, one is, we are all one step away from being them.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had these thoughts in your head? Have you ever lived this life? Like, maybe not to the extent some of them, but like, we are all one step away from them. And there's a couple inmates that like stick out to me when I think about that, because they literally, like, there's this one inmate, his wife cheated on him and he did a $5,000 fraud against his own company so that his daughter wouldn't lose her house and he could pay her tuition for school because she was in university. 4 years. He was there for 3.5 years on the unit that I was at. Like, he didn't hurt anybody. He was like the best grandpa. If I saw him, like, if he was my grandpa, I'd be like, this guy's the best thing ever. He didn't hurt anybody, but like one step away.
Yep.
Right. And the other one is, you know, so you see all these guys, I'm going to say guys, there's women that do this too, but they're hotheads, and they're like, you know what, my whole time today is I'm gonna to flinch. They're just gonna flinch, and then I'm gonna, green light. Oh, he flinched. Make sure it's on camera. Flinch, right? Inmates are gonna flinch no matter what. It happens. They wanna just throw down and be, oh yeah, man, I got my first 66, got my first 44. I'm a real man now. Like I finally did it. I don't ever want to get in a fit 44. Like I don't ever need to. Like I've been involved in them, but I don't need to cause that. Like why? Because something can happen. People that have lost a finger from being bitten by an inmate during a 44, that have been off work forever because they've hurt something, or like, why do we don't need that. And the other thing, like if you're coming, so if an inmate comes screaming and yelling at me, and if you sit there for a second and you go, yeah, I understand you're frustrated, but like when you're, done screaming, we can have a conversation. But when you come in at a 10, or they're at a 10, you come in at like a 2, it stuns people to be like, okay, well, I'm not getting the reaction I want.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. I used to always talk to them like kids. Like I would be like, they would come like again, fucking, and I'd be like, okay, are we really having a temper tantrum right now? Like, I think we need to bring it down about 10 fucking levels. And when you bring it down 10 levels and you can speak to me in a civil manner, then we will have a conversation. Until then, if you want to have your temper tantrum, you can go to your cell and have your temper tantrum.
Yep.
And they were just like, oh. And then they're like,
and yell and scream back. And
well, and of course, because the whole range is now like, who mom just told you?
Yeah, got.
So then they're like, but it does. Like they fucking rapidly revise like how they come screaming up, and they're like, well, I'm just like really fucking mad. Like you, I'm like, absolutely, totally get it, totally get that you're angry. But you screaming at me, is that getting you what you want? Well, no. Well, then stop fucking screaming at me. Let's have a conversation. Let me know what the fuck is going on, and then we'll go from there. Like, and to me, again, I was always about like, okay, you fucking got an issue. I feel it. Yes, the food sucks here. You're correct. It is fucking nasty. Yes, it does suck that you didn't get your canteen. Absolutely. Yes, I know. It's very frustrating that somebody keeps fucking stealing the phone and won't let you ever on it. I get that. Yes, I do. But you fucking screaming at me is not getting you on the phone, is it? No. Yeah. Okay, now fucking bring it down and let's have a conversation. Yeah, totally. So for you, because right now, so 5 years in, you are currently on leave. I want you, if you are comfortable, I want you to tell me what brought this about and what had happened to you, because it is a very interesting story. And I think that there's definitely things that can be improved from this story on the agency side of things. So hit me with that. Tell me that story.
So there was like 2 things that kind of happened. So when I obviously first going into the jail, a brand new person, not knowing much, I was working an overtime shift at female infirmary, and I came in contact with something. It was never actually deemed to figure out what it was, because I don't know, I'm not going to speculate, but they wouldn't do a swab of the cell and said they didn't have staff on site that could do it or whatever. But when I got taken to the hospital, so I got taken by ambulance. I thought I was having a heart attack. And you're supposed to go with a peer. Right? Someone's supposed to always go with you. That did not happen. So I went by myself, and I was alone in the ambulance. And then someone came to the hospital and sat with me for about an hour, and then they wanted to go home, so they left. So I was alone at the hospital, obviously kind of not really knowing what's going on. My blood pressure was dropping so hard that the ambulance had like nitroed me like 3 times and whatever. And then I'm in the bed, like I get rolled past like actually an inmate, and I'm like in uniform in the bed. Super fun. So I'm like laying in the bed. They did a whole bunch of stuff to me, and they're like, hey, well, they got me like level and stable and all the things. And then they brought me, or they were like, okay, well, you're good now. Like I was finally stable. Everything checked out. Like it wasn't my heart. It wasn't having a heart attack. I wasn't having a panic attack. It was like you came into contact with something. We've drained it out of your body. You're good. And then I am released from the hospital. But how did I get there? So how do I get home? So I called the DDOs like 13 times, I think, and no one answered.
Yep.
I think it was like 4:00 in the morning. I know it was like 5:00 in the morning or 5:30 or something. And so I called a cab, and I'm like disheveled. My uniform's untucked. I'm disheveled. I haven't slept. I literally just went through like this, and I worked a 16-hour shift. I haven't slept. I'm like begged. And as I'm leaving, the same paramedic's coming in with someone else, and he's like, oh, fuck, like you look like shit. So anyways, I get in a cab. It was like pouring rain. I thought we were going to die because this cab driver was awful. I get back to the jail and I never swiped out because I went through A&D.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into the front of the building and it's like early morning. Obviously, like I don't know the people that work there. Like usually it's my like right before my shift. And
Yeah.
he's like, you don't have any proof you work here, so I'm not letting you in. And I'm like, can you call the DDOs? Because like I'm in uniform. I didn't swipe out. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have all my stuff with me. And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay. So I called the DDOs again. It took me 8 tries again to get through. Finally, someone answered and they don't know me because I'm new. They're like, we don't know this person. And so I was like, I was working yesterday on like overtime, female infirmary. Finally, after like an hour, they let me in. And I like went to the DDO's office and I was like, do I have to fill out any paperwork? So I have a safety background. So any incident or a near miss, you need to fill out paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I said, I was like, do I have to fill out a safety incident report? They're like, no, nothing. And I was like, okay, but like I'm brand new. I don't want to ruffle feathers. Well, as I was leaving, Miss Sirens caught me and she's like, what are you doing? And I told her, she's like, fuck that. Come back. We're filling out paperwork. What do you mean? So she like handled it for me. And so I like went and got checked out by a doctor again. Everything was fine. Submitted the paperwork to WCB. Like I wasn't off work at all. I came back to work the next day, no problem. But then like, to be honest, that was like my first 3 months in. And like, that did kind of taint me a little. And I would say it made me like kind of a bitch. Like it literally just like, which it worked well. I needed that. But at the same time, like didn't have trust in my supervision and management and the agency as a whole, because I was told that you always have somebody to go with you. You're always in a peer. You're never. So it's like when something goes south, regardless what it was, I saw somebody get a cut and they had to get stitches and they had someone to go with them. But like I leave in an ambulance and I'm by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, whatever. And that was when we still had paramedics at the jail. So the paramedics were like the ones that were like, no, we got to transport her.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that was all fine and dandy. And then fast forward like 2.5 years, so I'm in female mental health, but it actually was the old male mental health with the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm working an overtime shift, and the shift that I'm on, those girls don't want to do anything as per usual. And it's their own shift. So I'm going to feed the inmates on the top tier. So, I mean, one other big pain point, I'm sure you can definitely agree with this, is pod control should be for experienced officers. It is a very dangerous place to work when something goes south. You need to be able to understand how to operate that computer and operate, to listen. But it also ends up being where people watch Netflix and don't want to work and don't want to do anything and have their feet on the desk or are sleeping with people in the bathroom or all the things. So we don't always know who's in pod control unless it's your regular unit. You can be like, hey, pod, and you know who it is. But, like sometimes you can be standing at the door for however long and you're like, nope, no door open.
Yep.
And then I go in and I'm like, pod control, can I get the elevator from the bottom tier to the top tier? Door doesn't open. I'm like, okay, maybe he's dealing with something. Ask again. I'm like looking at my partner being like, can you call pod control at this point? Like I've asked 3 times.
Can you hear me? Am I coming over on the radio?
Like what the fuck? Am I on the right channel? Like what's happening?
Yeah.
So call again. Finally, the elevator comes, the doors open, and then the doors close right away. And I'm like, pod control, can you open the elevator, leave the doors open, let me get in the elevator, and I need to go to the top tier. The doors open. And I'm like waiting. I'm like, okay. So I go in, and then we're on the middle tier. And you know how like you kind of get like a little bit, I don't know, blind when you're doing things. So I'd been there for a while now. So I was like going to back out and I'm like, wait, this is the wrong tier. Like, what the heck? So I'm like, pod control. I'm like, can you please? Like, how dumb can I make this for you?
Yep.
Well, I had the meal cart, and this, they've got the little wheels and they're like, it's like 4 slots in the floor that you got to like push this over. So I'm like, push it in, and like the door starts closing and I've only got the first 2 wheels in. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, the door's going to stop because it's an elevator.
Yeah.
We've been in an elevator before. The door stops.
Yeah.
Well, did you know the jail doors don't stop? The elevator doors do not stop. So the elevator door hits me and I'm like pushing the cart in, throw myself in. And now I'm like freaked out, pissed off, angry. I want out of this elevator and I'm stuck in the elevator. And now I'm like, what just happened? Like, so many things going on. So I'm like, pod
And the
control.
elevator doors just kept closing. There was
There's nothing. There's no safety sensors to stop them. So the elevator hits me. I finally am able to, like, it squishes the top of me. I'm able to pull myself into the elevator. So now the door closes fully. I'm inside the elevator. The buttons in the elevator, by the way, in a jail don't work. So you're in there and I'm like, okay, pod control. Take the elevator to the top tier, leave the door open, and like, that's it. And it went to the bottom and the doors didn't open, went to the middle, went to the top. And I'm like, who the fuck's in pod control at this point? So I'm in there and finally it goes to the top tier. The door opens and I am like waiting. I'm standing in this elevator and I'm like, I want to run out and beat somebody, but I'm like, okay. So I like get the cart out. I'm waiting. The door's not closing. I rush out and I feed the inmates. And at that point we had some great inmates upstairs. Great inmates. So good. Oh my gosh.
In the shoe, you mean?
No, it was in female mental health, but I'm making a joke as like great inmates, like they want to throw their tray at you and they're trying to attack you. And they're the door and they're going to try to shit bomb you if they can.
Yes.
So I'm
and
like,
these are the women, guys, listeners. These are the women. These are the women.
The men are easy. The men are easy to deal with, unless you're like an asshole officer. But the men are easy to deal with.
Yeah.
So I finally get through. I leave the meal tray or the meal cart upstairs. I race down the stairs and I like call Pog. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Been in the jail 6 years, 7 years. I thought he was an experienced officer because he's 6 years, 7 years in. Somebody that like I would look up to train. And he was always on the response team. Did he kind of walk around like his shit didn't stink? Yeah. But you know what? Never worked in pod control. He didn't know how to operate an elevator. He just didn't want to do a job because he normally works on the response team. And he didn't want to he's an escort. He didn't want to actually have to work a unit.
Yep.
So the supervisor comes in and I'm fuming because at that point now other people are gone on lunch. I'm sitting there by myself. I'm fuming and I literally was like, I need to just go home. Like someone's going to get hurt today, whether it's me or somebody else. Like I just need a day. I'm going home. And I have never left shift before. But I was like, hey, whatever, you're going to finish your shift. You're fine. And then they come back from lunch and the supervisor comes in and he's like, no, you are going home. Like you're filling out stuff. You're going home. He's like, I did not know that the pod control officer had no idea what to do because it was an overtime. And I said, I was so angry. I was like, I think you guys literally need a better program of how to like make sure your people know what they're doing. Make sure that there's at least one officer on every unit that actually knows how to run the unit. Like you can't figure that out. You can't have two rookies. You can't have somebody who doesn't know. Time in doesn't mean anything. If you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. If you don't want to do the job and you've just been sitting in here gaining years. And then so I left and that was July 26th. And it's been a battle. I ended up talking with OH&S and the elevator engineers of Alberta just to ask questions. I was like, I just need to know. There was an investigation done. And from what I was told, there was supposed to be follow-up from security and there was supposed to be new protocols put in place. And I was supposed to review and sign off on them. And it has been over 3 years and I have heard crickets. So you know how that works. My big thing was we can't have this. And they said, oh, well, it's inmate safety to not have safety sensors.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah. So we're just going to crush inmates too. Perfect.
So I said,
and then get a lawsuit and then get sued and then get,
I said, so I understand, the elevator is operated by a human. Okay, well, humans fail. So if all of a sudden we're in a scrap, you and I are working together and we're in a scrap with inmate Joe and inmate Joe gets on top of me and you're trying to pull him off and we're in the door jam and the door closes because the person in pod control hits the wrong button. That's not something, that's not like where we just lose a finger in like the little door of, someone slams a cell door. That's the elevator. There's two of them, the doors, and there's a giant steel door on the outside. And I question it so much, but like, what do you do?
Yeah.
The unfortunate part is what happens in that prison and in that jail and all the correctional facilities everywhere never hits public eye.
Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know that, to be honest, 95% of those people are sitting on their cell phone all day or all day. They don't actually care about the inmates. It's the easiest job in the world, everyone says, because you don't have to do anything. People don't actually do their rounds. Like, it's a bare minimum job for a really good amount of pay, and a lot of people at risk. And the turmoil that I've gone through mentally through all of this has literally made me sit back and say, you know what? I thought for so long I failed. And you know what? I didn't. I did a really good job. I was really good at what I did. The system failed. And I chose that there was a better path for me. And if there was anything I could do to like make this better, I would. But unfortunately, like, your hands are so tied, because like, how do you make a huge change within a government facility that like it's only one person, you know, unless it happens again, right? And there was when this all came to fruition, there was another officer that told me something happened on Max Pod similar, and they brought it up and they're like, oh yeah, no, it's like getting looked at. But yeah, so
I like, again, I'm so sorry that it happened to you, because like, I know, having been the person that literally designed that jail, like, I was literally on that team looking at the elevators that we're going to use, looking at pod control, looking at what are our fail safes. Like, I did that for 2 fucking years. And I can guarantee that that was not what was supposed to happen. And I think, like, again, this is fucking, I'm going back 2011. So to actually think like,
stop
I
dating
would have to,
yourself, Nikki.
dude, I know I'm so pretty, but so old. No, but like, for me, like, again, like, I would almost, like, after we talked, I was like, I really kind of want to go and dig through some of my old shit and just see, because I know we did have conversations about this. Like, what about if the doors, like, but we can't let them pop open, because if they pop open, the inmates can get in. And well, should we have the steel doors closed, but the elevator doors stay open? Or should we, like, and I know we had conversations about this, and I know there was like safety things that we talked about. And so, like, again, like, I totally understand. And I'm so sad that somebody got hurt in this, because obviously it wasn't done properly. And obviously, yes, humans do fail. And then the whole thing about, like, there should be a system in place for people that should be working this. There was a system in place. We used to have it. You used to have to take the training, and then you would get the tag and Schedule Pro. And only if you had the tag and Schedule Pro would you be able to be assigned, when we filled out the roster on Schedule Pro and assigned you to where you were going. If you didn't have the tag, it wouldn't physically let us put you in that spot, right? Well, again, fucking people in leadership positions wanted their friends to be able to work in cushy spots. So they just started manually adding and changing on Schedule Pro, because they had the admin privileges. And all of a sudden, all these people that were not actually trained were getting these fucking gravy gigs because they were friends with so-and-so, right? And so to see that, like, I mean, I remember hearing that and fucking losing my shit and storming upstairs and being like, this is fucking bullshit, you guys. Like, you need to fucking fix this. And then being like, well, it's done. What's done is done. And like, we'll just get them trained up now. And me being like, that's not going to fucking happen, but okay, whatever. Sure. You guys want to fucking do this. Right. And I also, again, no, like, I moved into management because I was that person that was like, I have to fix this. This is so fucking bad. How do I get up there? How do I fucking fix this? How do I change this? How do I make this better? Because I see the slugs going to the units and taking the cushy spots. I see the fucking overtime hogs that are working 6 for 6 plus 3 days off plus, like, and they're fucking zombies and they're useless and they're sitting on their fucking phones and they're sitting there watching Netflix. I remember being the only fucking DDO or ADD at the time that would walk around and do my rounds, and I would come on the unit and I would come up behind from the little fucking gangway door, walk out, and Netflix would be on. And they'd just be sitting there. There's fucking chaos on the fucking unit. I've walked out. The inmates have clocked me like fucking 5 minutes before the staff have even realized that I'm standing fucking behind them. And then they turn around and they're like, oh, hey, Miss P. And then it's like the quick, like, try and fucking minimize Netflix. And I'm like, yeah, we're watching Netflix, guys. Oh, you was just checking something. And then, no, man, because I've been fucking standing here for 5 fucking minutes behind you, watching you watch Netflix, while the inmates have all clocked me. They're all fucking leaning on the railing, waiting for you to realize that your boss is standing fucking behind you. Like, pull your fucking head out of your ass, man. Get the fucking Netflix off. Or the one that I remember where he didn't even fucking, he just left it going. And he's like, turn around talking to me like we're buddies. I go, are you fucking kidding me right now? And he's like, what? I was like, you're just going to fucking leave Netflix playing while I'm fucking, like, at least show me the fucking respect that I'm on your fucking unit and minimize that shit and pretend like you're even fucking doing your job. Like,
but there's no hierarchy, like there's no ranking or hierarchy at all in that.
No.
Like no one has respect for anything of a hierarchy. It's
nope.
It is, to me, to be honest, it's like the most wild, like being law enforcement, you think you're so respected and everything. And any other law enforcement, any other agency, fire, paramedic, anything, you do not do anything until you are signed off. And it's like 6 months, 7 months, 4 months, 5 months of training. And then you get signed off there. You don't have to have any credentials or nothing. You could be anybody you want, and you go in there, and then you go in there and you get so in your head because now you get to just be a pump show and beat up all these, do all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's ever since I haven't been there, everyone that I worked with, like, I think there's only like maybe 5 people left that stayed. Everyone else left because it's horrible. And the people that are from your era, like, they were great. They actually cared, like a lot of people that were there that are still there, like, they cared. They're so good. Like, I met some incredible people there, but there's some where I'm just like, oh,
yep. And there's no punishment. Like, there's no discipline. There's no repercussions. So again, me being like catching this fucking guy watching Netflix, standing behind him, like, I can write him up. What's the union's just going to be like, oh, well, and we need so much fucking documentation on every single person. I need to catch this piece of shit watching Netflix 3 fucking times. And then I need to give him 3 verbal warnings. Then I need to give him 3 written warnings before I can finally fucking fire this guy. And even then he's going to get his job back because he's going to grieve it to the union, and the union's going to fucking hire him back. So just like the inmates, when they know that there's actually 0 fucking repercussions for them to do whatever, they're going to fucking keep doing it. Staff are going to keep fucking being lazy because there's no repercussions, right? Like, and there's no real benefit to doing your fucking job. Like, there's
like charge an inmate, you do all that work and it goes nowhere. What they
totally
privileges for, and they just get candy from everybody else. Like,
yep. Yeah. No, I'm with you. It was one of the most frustrating, and it's just gotten worse. Like, it has gotten worse and worse and worse. Like, I feel like I was in kind of a very like unique time of corrections, because when I started 2002, like, it was still old school jail. Like, it was still old school. Like, the hole was the hole. Like, admin seg was fucking admin seg. Like, you were in baby dolls and you were fucking nothing in your cell, and we were up your asshole every fucking day. Like, the units were clean. Your beds were made, and I'm talking fucking hospital, like hotel standard made. Like, there was nothing on your walls. There was like, it was fucking like, it was boot camp. It was boot camp, but it was boot camp across the whole fucking jail, right? And that's what it should be. And then standards started slipping. Yes, there's external things. Again, I'm not saying that it was all staff. When you fucking are putting 3 guys in a cell that's meant for 1, really, and now we've double bunked them, and now we've triple bunked them at the old jail. Yeah, it's real fucking hard to keep a cell like that clean when they each have their own stuff, and there's one sleeping on the floor, but standards started to slip and slip and slip and slip and slip. And now here we are, and we're so far gone. Like, people keep saying to me, Nikki, come back and work casual, come back and work casual. I'm like, I couldn't because I would go out there and I would fucking unleash. I would unleash, and whoever I was working with would be like, who the fuck is this chick? And of course, they'd all think that I was some rookie, because nobody knows who I am anymore unless they ran their fitness test with me. They might know that it's Nikki from Blue Line, but a lot of them don't know who the fuck I am. Yeah. And they would be like, who's this fucking new bitch? And then I would fucking snap, absolutely fucking snap.
Like, oh.
Yeah. Or either that, or then I'd be in fucking the DDO's office and be like, oh, hey guys, it's me. Yeah, I'm back. And I'm not fucking working with these pieces of shit. So
they'd be like, well, you don't leave me on
just leave me on the unit by myself. Actually, I don't fucking need anybody. I don't need a partner, and I don't need a CO3. Just fucking let me run this unit by myself.
We do better.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but it makes me sad, because again, I talked to like my friends that are still working there. Like I was at the corrections hockey tournament a little while ago, ran into a bunch of like old people that I'm like, oh my God, I miss you guys. And I miss the people. But
Yeah.
when I hear them talk about it, I'm like, fuck me. Like,
And a lot of them, it's like that 7-year curse. You don't get out after 7 years, right?
totally.
And you know what? For a lot of it sucks because for a lot of people wanting to go into like the police force or anything, having that as a stepping stone is so good on your resume. But it, like, I know some people that was their goal, and then they get there and they get so ruined. They're like, I'm not joining the police force.
Nope.
And I'm like, ah, the police force is not like corrections. Like
No.
the fire service, I'm not joking. The fire service, if we had a bad call, if we had a good call, if like I held a baby till it passed away, I was at multiple suicides, multiple horrible, horrible car crashes. We had a debrief. We sat down. We were a family. We were a team. We talked about it. In the jail, you have a bad call. It's like, hey, buck it up, guys. It shouldn't bother you. Like, no. There's like people get so mentally screwed up from it where they can't talk about these things, and you don't have support, and you're stuck doing the same thing over and over again, and you're a pussy if you can't go on this unit, you can't do that, you can't do this. It's like you really need to like have a better system. It sucks. It really does suck for all the people going in. Like anyone that's like, oh, like I want to join corrections, I'm like, don't do it. Nope, go anywhere else. Don't go
I
work
know
at
it is.
Walmart.
It's hard. It is hard because again, in my business, right, Blue Line, that's what we do is we help. And I see, and it's hard because the career itself is easy.
It's
easy.
so easy.
It's so fucking easy. Like it's literally the easiest job. And I mean, again, I don't want to minimize the hard things that we deal with and the hard work and the fucking being treated like garbage all the
You're
time.
signing up to work in a prison. That kind of comes with like the fact that you're signing up to work with like the worst people in society.
Yes.
But if you can do it with good people, if you can do it in a safe environment for yourself, all the extra things that do happen, there's things in place to help. All the really horrible things that happen are sometimes one-offs. Like, the job itself is actually a great job. It was like honestly, the easiest job I've ever had, ever. Construction is way harder. Working in an office is harder. Dealing with the people, like the inmates is the easy part. It's the staff and management. And that's the hardest thing is working with the inmates. If you show them respect and they give you respect, your life's easy. If you treat them like shit, you better watch your back on the outside. Simple as that.
I know. And for me, that was exactly it. Like I would always say, I know I've got no issue. If I see an inmate on the street, no fucking problem. They usually are like, hey boss, how are you? We haven't seen you at the jail forever. What are you doing? I'm like, I don't work anymore. I run my own business. Oh, that's so good for you. You were always a good CO. Like we're so happy for you. Right. I don't fucking ever. If I see a con, either that or they see me, they clock me and we give the old like fucking naughty and then keep going and just pass each other at Walmart and fucking, or the odd one where it's like, are you a con? Are you a CO? We kind of do the like, and then we're like, yeah, we think, so we'll just ignore each other and keep walking. Right?
I was in Calgary and I heard my name, like Miss Mac, be called like 4 times. And I'm like, no one calls me that. No one. So I'm like, okay. And so I turned around and I saw this inmate with a girl. He was on my unit and I think he'd been out for maybe a year. Maybe it was like 7 months. And I I was on boot camp. And so like we all sat down and he was going to get out and he had been in jail for 7 years, won his appeal. And he's like, I'm scared. I was here since I was 19. And I'm like, okay, so write yourself a list. What do you need when you get out? You need an identification. You need a bank account. You need make yourself a list, like get yourself ready. He was going to lie in court to stay in jail because he was so scared. And I said, no. Anyway, I walk up to him, but I was like, hey, he's with a girl. I'm like, I don't know who this girl is. I'm going to play it as if we work together. He says, so I was like, oh, hey, like, how's it going? I'm like, what's his first name? What's his first name? What's his first name?
We only know him by last names.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't call him his last name. No one's going to know that. And so he said to me, like, oh, yeah, Miss Mac, how's it going? I was like, oh, hey, good. Like, I didn't say this. I was like, how are you? Like, and I was ready to say, we used to work together because a lot of times, like, if you know a friend and like the other guy and they have a girl, you never know. Like, and he says, this is the CO from the remand that literally like saved my life and made me be able to like be out here. And she's like, can I give you a hug? And I was like, sure. She gave me a hug. She's like, you have no idea. Like he talks about you all the time because they called me gas chamber on boot camp because if there was like idiots that needed to leave, they'd be like, is the gas chamber open, kind of like Hitler?
Yeah.
And then I'd get rid of them. And
Yes.
so like, I guess he had like gone out and told like, because one day I did like a thing on like a business plan. Like if you were to build a business, what would you build? Like do something in here. Like we did a talent show. We did so many things where it's like, use your brain. You're on here. Like if you could do that on pod 2, man, they would have so much fun and they would actually be so much better.
That's the thing. You can do that shit. And that's what I tried to do. I tried to bring that because they're all the same. They're all inmates are all fucking same. They're bored. They fucking don't want to be
Sure.
And so if you don't give them constructive things to do, what they become destructive because that's all there is. That's the only other fucking option.
I would
When
too. I would
I
survive.
fucking-
Put me in a cell.
Totally.
Try.
Totally. I printed one year and I did this down in Red Deer and fucking Red Deer hated me, hated my guts. The staff hated my fucking guts because they called me a con lover because I printed giant fucking paper Christmas trees, and I hung them up on the walls in the units. And I was like, we're having a Christmas tree decorating contest. You can only use the things that you already have on the unit. You should have fucking seen these guys. They were making tinsel out of chip bags. They were like cutting up the chip bags and then turning it outside. So it was like tinsel. I did print them like ornaments. So they were coloring the ornaments. They were like fucking it was the level of fucking creativity and did we find a brew on the unit for the month of December? No. Shocking because it's fucking December, right? Was there any fights? No. And I was like, Kate, does anybody else fucking see that this is working? Do we see? But no, the second you want to do something over and above, you're a con lover. And how dare you? These guys are pieces of shit. Don't fucking give them nothing. I'm like, okay, so then you're going to make your 8 hours real fucking hard. I would rather make my 8 hours easy.
Like my biggest thing is, you know what? Yeah, maybe they are pieces of shit. But guess what? This is your job. You didn't sign up to work with little kids and give them candy and, teach them the alphabet and like get to go and snuggle them and ride horses and do all these things. No, you signed up to work inside of a concrete building that is secured with razor wire. It is a prison. You signed up for this. So you know what? Do your freaking job. And like, on boot camp at Christmas, we decorated the whole unit. They made one time, we did definitely use a lot of supplies, but they made a 12-foot Christmas tree out of boxes and toilet paper, and they made paints and then, it was so funny. So on Christmas morning, they wrapped, one of the leaders, he donated canteen and made sure everyone on the unit would get one gift. So he put he wrapped up all the canteen and put it under the tree. If someone didn't have it, they would get one. And so I got a Grinch costume. And before count, like everyone was locked up still. There's obviously everyone like waiting at the doors because it's boot camp. And I went out in my Grinch costume and I stole all the presents. And then I like went back and then I like showed up at work and they were like, Miss Mac, guess what? And I was like, what? They're like, the Grinch came and stole. It was so funny. But like, yeah, they laughed and I barely ever had issues. And if I did, I dealt with them and, or it was like internally dealt with before I had to deal with it. And then, you moved on. It was, and even on like pod 2 is a gang unit. And honestly, the stuff that happens there is wild. But if you let them sometimes deal with themselves, give them a little bit of freedom in a sense of like, you don't have to be a freaking bitch all the time. Like, nope. They'd be like, literally, some inmates would be like, no, I'm not asking you to do anything until my regular officer's back, because I'll be like, you have to give me a reason. Have you been an asshole lately? No. Okay, fine. Fair. But if you say you want to move cells and be with this person and you're going to cause me any issues, it's not happening. But same thing. Like you just got to give and like, but I know walking down the street, I will never get jumped by an inmate.
No, I found the gang units the easiest. The gang units were the easiest because, again, most of them have been in jail their whole fucking life.
And they run themselves.
And as long as you are fair and you are consistent in your rules, those units are fucking easy peasy because you can't go in there and change how you are every fucking day, because that's when it gets all fucking messed up. But if you go in every day, and for me, cleanliness was number one. I was like, if I fucking come through this unit and this unit is a pigsty, y'all are fucking in for it. And so they knew the second I walked through the door, it would be like, whoof, like scatter running for their cells, fucking making sure beds were made, sunshine girls were down, fucking bottles were put away, like the whole, and then I would do my round. Very happily. Looks wonderful, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a great day. See you later. when I left, did they go back and fucking put Sunshine Girls back up? For sure. Did they fucking pull their bottles out? For sure. But they showed me the fucking respect that they knew my expectations. And in return, when they asked me, hey, Miss T, can we get the TV and watch the fucking Super Bowl on, for a little bit, 15 minutes into count or 15 minutes into lunch? Yeah. You know what, guys? Because you know what? This whole fucking week, you've done exactly like I fucking asked. And so, yes, you behave, you get privileges. You don't behave, you don't get fucking privileges. It is very fucking simple. The rules are very fucking simple. And again, most of those guys, they're like, yeah, Miss T, this guy's got to go. Okay,
like,
why?
okay,
Why is he got to go? Because this, and this. And if he doesn't go, he's going to get fucking pounded out. There's like 6 guys lined up to pound him out. And I'm like, all right. Okay, let me see. Let me see what I can do. Let me go see. Let me see. Right? Yeah. Because again, I'm not going to take your word for it, but I'll go see. And then, or just being like, hey, Miss T, next shift, this guy's getting banged out. Just so you know. So when you come in, there's going to be some paperwork. And I'm like, well, it's not on my shift. So fucking good.
Yeah. Like my thing was, how did I word it? I was like, if you're going to hurt someone, I don't want to know about it. Or if someone's going to get hurt, I don't want to know about it. If you have to deal with something, deal with it so I don't see it.
Yep.
And the other one was, if there has to be paperwork, if it's something that has to be dealt with, I'll deal with it. But I mean, I've been pretty good to you. So like maybe after count next time. And like the guys were great. Like there was times where I did paperwork and I was like, no, that was warranted. Like he's going to shit on the unit. And that's sometimes the way you're going to get them off. They don't learn. They don't learn unless someone puts them in their place. I don't want it to be me because I don't want to have to do a 44 if I don't have to.
Yep.
They're in here to kind of like, police themselves a little bit in their own little.
And they're going to do it anyways. They're going to do it anyways. Whether they tell you about it or not, they're going to do it anyways. Yep.
And you charge them and what's going to happen? Nothing.
Yeah. Nothing. No, totally. Okay. I love this. I could talk to you for hours, but I want to jump because now you've got some new things on the horizon and I want to talk about those real quick before we get to our rapid fire stuff. But you've got, like I said, lots of stuff on the horizon. You just got married. Congratulations. Very exciting. And you've been doing photography for years, but this is really taking off for you now, professional photography. And you are starting you've started your own clothing line. So tell me all about these awesome things.
Okay, so I've been doing photography for like this is my 9th year. So kind of throughout the whole thing. And to be honest, like with me, like I would say I do it a little bit, probably same amount that I did when I was off or when I was working full time. Just because like I really like to balance my time, but also like mentally it's been a creative avenue, which has been so great. But I've done a lot more. Like I've donated so much in the last couple of years, and it's been so incredible to just really like give back to communities and, working with like different hospitals and doing a ton of like with the Royal Alexandra Hospital and the Stollery Hospital. I've done so many incredible events. So that's been really fun. And then kind of we don't have time to talk about everything because we'll be here for 17 days, but I haven't had an easy life. I went through a lot growing up and I dealt with like sexual assault and I was struggling with suicide when I was younger and really just trying to find my place in life and an avenue where, I felt like I couldn't talk about all the things I went through and it was so hard. And I just like grew up and like had to go to court and did all these things when I was so young. And then I literally turned around and was like, you know what, Chevelle, you can be something better. You can be whoever you want. You don't have to be a product of anything. You don't have to be the product of somebody who was raped and abused. Like that doesn't define you. And I make this joke now because I'm, dealing with, I go to psychology every 2 weeks, like God bless his soul. I don't know how he deals with me, but I always say like, I sometimes wish like, mental health isn't visible. So if I walked around with a broken leg, you'd be like, oh, hey, how's your leg? What'd you do? But like when I walk around, like everyone thinks I'm this normal, happy go-getter. Like everyone's like, what do you mean there's something wrong with you? And I'm like, well, I don't have to, like, I feel like I need a sim character, like a little diamond in my head being like, she's a great human, but she struggles a lot and like goes through things. But there's a difference between like, and I'm sorry if I say this and it hurts some people that might hear this, but like there's a difference between being a victim all the time and being somebody who's like gone through something and can make something of themselves and use that struggle for strength and like to find a way. And that's the path I took. And yeah, don't get me wrong, there's days where I played victim and I struggled, but like I found a way to build myself from nothing. And that's kind of where my brand grew. So I just launched built from nothing. And I'm actually wearing the hoodie right now. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, very
So,
nice.
yeah, so I just launched this, and it really is like, I, as much as I thought I failed, like I didn't leave the fire service because I failed. I left the fire service because I moved, and unfortunately you have to be within 20 minutes of the station, but I would go back in a heartbeat. And with corrections, I didn't leave because I failed. I left because I did what I needed to do, and I'm on to something else, something new.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really am built from nothing. Like I didn't have anything handed to me. And you know what? Anyone in any capacity can relate to this. So within the first month, excuse me, of this being launched, I have a fire chief in Manitoba who I'm connected with, his hoodie's in production right now and going to be shipped out to him. And he's like, your story. And I mean, it's a glimpse of my story that's out there. He's like, it resonated with me so much. And in any first responder, they can see it. My husband's also in the rigs, so like he can see it. And I built him like a rig one that goes with like welders and everything. And anyone can really relate to it, because at the end of the day, everyone has a story, no matter what you're doing in life. And my big motto is, if you wake up every single day and you don't learn something from somebody, you should just stay in bed. It doesn't matter who it is, if they're young, if they're old, but like, you can take whatever you're going through, no matter how hard it is, and build something from it. And you can build yourself from nothing. I have clients right now who are like almost millionaires. They're so incredibly successful. At one point, they literally didn't even have running water.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have heat. Like, and it's insane to think about that when you think about where you are right now and how hard life is for everyone, or what you're going through. And a lot of times you're like, oh, my life's horrible and fuck they, but look where you could go. Utilize that energy, put it somewhere, find somewhere else to go. Because, I had this one situation where an investigator came after me because my injury wasn't visible.
Mm-hmm.
And so they sent me this detailed report with video footage of me waking up, taking my dog for a walk at 5:30 in the morning, seeing an unidentified man. And then I would come home, and then I would barbecue, and then I would go to the dog park or whatever, and I would barbecue dinner. And when he talked to me on the phone, he said, well, you look like you're pretty fine to me. And I said, I said, so what you're telling me is, if I was laying on my couch, struggling with addiction, not getting myself out of bed, showering, and you believe me? He's like, well, it'd be more visible. And I said, that's a you problem.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because I'm trying to, and also I have a dog, so I can't just sit there with a cat. Maybe I could, but like, my dog is also a therapy dog. She's trained to dig me out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she will scratch me till I bleed to get me, come on, let's go. Because she's been there with me through how many years? She's 8 years old now. I've had her since a puppy. And no, I have to go for a walk. I have to do something. And I don't care how bad I'm struggling. I have to keep going, because no one else is doing this for me. No one's paying my bills.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a huge eye opener of like, and in that moment in my life, you get investigated. And I was analyzing like, okay, so I have to not be happy. I'm guilty for being happy. And like, I still go through this, like, I'm so guilty that I'm happy. I'm so guilty that I'm thriving in life, even though like I'm really struggling. But I don't have to say every single day, oh, my life sucks, I'm struggling. Yeah, I got diagnosed with PTSD. I started a new medication and it didn't work. And then I did this and that. Like, I don't have to tell anybody that, because
No.
you know what? We all have our own story. But what the number one thing is that mental health, and this is something that I'm a huge advocate for, is not talked about because it's not visible. And so if you look happy and you're doing well, and from the outside or from social media perspective, you're smiling and blah, 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 you're a upbeat girl, there's nothing wrong with you. Right. And, I just took on a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old. I'm still struggling. I'm doing what I'm doing. I have a husband. I have dogs. I have all these things. I have bills to pay. And I don't get to just, that doesn't happen. So who's going to keep doing it? You're not coming to my house every morning to make me shower and get me to keep doing these things. No. So I have to, no matter how hard it is. Where like some other people, and I have people very close to me that are very much like the poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me. Right. And I'm like, you can choose a side. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. I think that is the one hardest thing. And like, I remember for me, like when I hit my absolute, like, yeah, suicidal lowest point, I actually have a picture from that day where I'm with my kids. We're at the Fringe, and it's a picture of me and my girls in front of one of those like street performers or whatever. Big, huge smiles on our faces, having the greatest time. But that was literally the lowest day, August 19th, 2019. I remember it like the worst day of my life, where I literally was like, I don't think I'm going to make it to tomorrow. But here I am. Here's a photo of me smiling at the Fringe, having fun with my kids, going on the fucking high level streetcar. Look at us. Look at, like, we're having so much fun. But like underneath it all, right? It's like, yeah. So, and then people, you hear it all the time, people that have committed suicide. Oh my God, I just talked to him. He was fine. He was laughing. He was at the barbecue that night. And then he went home. Like, you can't see it. And you do have that choice again, as people like, right. For me, again, I chose to leave corrections, and I was like, okay, well, that was the biggest choice of my life, because now here I am 6 years later. Would I have been if I had left? I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Right.
Oh,
And so it's that thing of like, okay, did I make the choice? Did I, every day, am I going to wake up and choose to be in a good mood, or choose to fucking take the high road, or choose to be like, oh, that was a shitty start to the day. Am I going to
yeah.
let it ruin the rest of my day? No. Right. So I 100% completely agree with that, because it's totally true. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up, because I've been talking to you for forever, and it's been such a good conversation, guys. If you
No,
stay tuned, everybody, because don't be turning the podcast off yet, or just come back to it if you need to listen to it in pieces and parts. But I want to wrap up with some rapid fire questions, and I love these ones because they're so fun. But what was your favorite, or what is your favorite food or snack when you are on shift?
okay, Diet Coke is it's a sinner.
Yep.
Yeah, I would love Diet Coke. And honestly, I am famous for eating vegetables whole. And so like eating a pepper like an apple, or like just gnawing on a cucumber. Because I didn't have time. Why am I going to cut it up? I got to eat it anyway. So, and I still do this. Like I'll open up the fridge and I'm like, oh, I'm going to take the cucumber out and cut. No, I'm just going to gnaw on it.
It was so funny, because my youngest is exactly the same. Like, I'll look over after school, and she'll just be fucking a giant fucking carrot, like the full carrot, like
Yeah.
not cut up. Half the time she doesn't even fucking peel it. I'm like, what are you? Or
I need to wash
she
it.
takes the whole fucking carrot just to school in her lunch. Like, she doesn't cut it up, put it into a Ziploc or into a no, just a fucking carrot.
Like I'm not joking. Like my partners, like in the remand, and also the inmates would laugh at me. They would they would look at me and just start laughing, because I'd open up my lunch and I'd grab like just like literally a carrot. I just bite off the end, spit it in the garbage, bite off the other end, just eat the whole thing. I didn't wash it.
Eat it. She good. She good. And it's vegetables, so it's good for you. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I'm with you on the Diet Coke. I'm a Diet Pepsi-aholic, but yes, Diet Coke, the crisp. There's actually a bunch of those memes going on around, like
fridge siggy.
crisp
Yeah.
Diet Cokes.
Crisp fridge siggy.
Number 2, what was your favorite unit then to work on at the remand?
I would say 2 Bravo when when it was a gang unit. It also was with my partner though. Like when I had, like I worked with Prakash, and he was a freaking gem. When him and I worked together, it was great. When I had other partners, not so much. And then I loved Bootcamp, because Bootcamp is like my style of corrections, of being able to actually give them something to do. And to be honest, maybe that's why I didn't work out in the jail, because like you and I, we're not like every other officer that doesn't want to do anything. I believe in like actually, hopefully they can do better. That's why we're in a correctional facility. So boot camp was like, I cared so much about that, especially being a military background with my grandparents. And it was really cool to see. Like, I know at least 5 or 6 inmates now that have left, and I've run into or whatever, that like have their own businesses or have been doing something better with their life. And I'm like, you know what? If only we did that more. Life would
Yes.
be so much easier.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. 100% agree. Yep. Okay. And then number 3 would be, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to somebody if they were looking to get into a first responder career? Because I know we're not saying go to corrections, but if they're looking to get into a first responder career.
Don't ever have your ego so high that you can't learn. Learn from people around you. And honestly, if you can get someone to take you under your wing, I promise you it's the best thing ever. Learn something every day. because realistically, a first responder career is incredible. Corrections is incredible too. Like, I will sit here and shit on it because of whatever, but it is a good career. But if you're going in there, go in there with the mentality of like, don't be like everyone else who doesn't want to do their job. Do your job, do it well, be proud of what you do every single day. And that's kind of anywhere. Like, if you go into any first responder career, like, take the time to research and actually learn the job so that you're not just like the one that's like following up behind everybody. Like, be better, do better, learn about it, know what's happened so you can protect everybody and be a good partner. Sometimes you have to like think about the next step or learn your partner, because that's when every first responder career gets a partner. Realistic. Everyone gets a buddy. Even in fire, you get a buddy. And if you can have somebody that you can learn how to work with them, and you're maybe not really good at computer stuff, but you're really good at this, utilize those skills. Like, we're not all scholars being in first responding careers, but you can be so good at what you do and love it. And other thing on side of that is take care of your mental health before it's too late.
Yes, I love all of that. I absolutely love all of that. And I think the one thing that really resonates with me is that even though I think, because I know we said, corrections is kind of the worst, and having come from it, I believe that as well. Now, having worked with a bunch of different first responder agencies and hearing what happens in them, it's rampant throughout all of them. Do I still think corrections is probably the worst? Yes, but it is rampant throughout all of them. Like, I get all the goss, guys. Everybody comes and tells me what's going on, and I get all the gossip. But at the end of the day, again, it comes down to choice. You can choose to be good. You can choose to do your job well and with integrity and accountability and be respectful. That is still you choosing to do that. You can choose to do your job well, or you can choose to be a piece of shit. So at the end of the day, do you want to go home knowing that you are still a good person that did the best they could that day and did the best job that they could? Or do you want to go home knowing that you were a piece of shit, lazy person at work who did nothing, right? Like, I mean, and it's up to you. That's your choice. You can choose to be either one of those. Me personally, I'm going to choose to be the person who leaves at the end of the day and goes, you know what, that was a fucking rough day, but I did the best I could. And I know that I still am who I am deep inside. I didn't fucking go against anything that I morally and ethically didn't believe in. And, at least I can look at my face in the mirror and be proud of who I am versus not fucking, looking at myself and being like, oh, I'm a piece of shit. So I totally agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, girl, this has been phenomenal. This episode has been phenomenal. You guys, I love you. I hope you're still hanging on. If you're still here, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for listening to the whole entire episode. If you listened to this episode and you thought to yourself, holy shit, I want to listen to more, fucking subscribe, go to the podcast, listen to the podcast, share this podcast with one of your friends. If you want to learn what it's actually like, this is what we do here. This is what I do. I tell you the fucking raw, authentic truth about these careers. Fucking listen, tell your friends, and support my girl with her Built From Nothing business. I'm going to be adding it all in the show notes, guys. And she's also a phenomenal photographer. So if you guys are looking for beautiful photos, I need to get some of my family. You got to reach out to her because she's incredible. I've seen her work and it's amazing. So that's also going to go in the show notes. Any last words for our listeners?
No, I think honestly, we kind of wrapped up so many things in this podcast, and I think it's going to be great. And I've listened to so many episodes, and honestly, just hearing everyone else's stories and knowing that I'm not alone, but you have to be proud of what you do. So that's the biggest thing, is just be proud, be who you are, and don't be somebody else. Be you, be authentic.
Love that. Love that. All right, girl, you have an awesome rest of your day.
You as well, Nikki.
Well, that's it for today, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in, listening, giving me your time, your energy, and your attention. I completely appreciate it. Make sure you check out our next episode with another badass female first responder anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook at bluelinefitnesstesting.com. I hope you stay safe, keep your head on a swivel, and watch your six.